Well, it's me again, and this is my podcast and my world, where I take you along on an adventure where we get to explore everything and anything that goes on in my mind. Oh boy, is it random, is it crazy, it's nuts, it's all over the place. So grab yourself a cup of coffee and let's have a good time. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is exactly 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh my. What a day, what a day. This is a beautiful Tuesday morning, and I'm out here warming up my truck right on time, drinking me yummy cup of coffee. And you're listening to podcast number 52. Number 52. So, I don't think the truck's quite warm enough yet, so we'll let it sit here for a few more seconds. On my last upload, if you were paying any attention, you would have noticed that I made a couple of different comments in there, but yeah, I'm closing down that garden, and I'm making it look as pretty as I possibly can. I am pulling everything out and putting in some wood chips, and the whole purpose of that is I don't want any weeds or anything growing back there. My father, he is the one, is the caretaker of the property. It's his place, and he asked me when I first moved in if I would make sure to leave wood chips down so that no weeds and grass and as low of a maintenance as possible back there. So that is what I've done, and what I'm doing, I went and put wood chips in, covered the entire area, even up underneath the stairs. There are the 3 barrels, like I mentioned, that will be coming out. The black one and then 2 of the blue ones will be coming out. The gate itself will stay, and the 2 blue barrels on either side of the gate will stay. But the whole little structure thing I built up over it with the driftwood, that's all coming out. So that's actually the only thing that's going to be there. There might be a bench. I'm thinking of possibly leaving a bench or putting something there to sit on, but I'm not exactly sure. And then tomatoes. He loves his tomatoes, so I am going to plant probably, I'm thinking about 12 to 15 tomato plants all along the fence line there, between the fence and the wall. I've got a bunch of different ones, so we'll see what happens. I might plant a bunch of random tomatoes this year. I'm not exactly sure. It's either that or I plant just early girls in there, and then harvest some seeds so I can keep the seeds fresh. Because the most current seed of early girl I have is, I believe, a 2014. So it is. Those are way past time to plant them out and get new seeds. So I might do that. I'm kind of undecided. I've got so much going on right now. I may just go to the store and just buy a bunch of random tomatoes and plant a bunch of tomatoes. Just random tomatoes, whatever I find in the store. Early girls, early boy, beefsteaks, a bunch of cherry tomatoes. I don't know. I might do that. It's a little faster. You're spending, a couple of dollars per plant, but which is expensive, by the way. Anytime you have to spend any money on a plant, it adds up after a while. I mean, could you imagine trying to garden? People do this all the time. Trying to garden to feed a family of 4, for instance, and you have to buy all of your plant starts from a home center or from, a big box store. That is just expensive. I mean, you're looking, $2, for a pepper plant, $3 for a pepper plant. And, if you want bell peppers, which I don't, but a lot of people like bells, then you're looking at, $100. I mean, you could easily spend $100 on plants every single year. But then you come back and you're like, well, did I keep my, did I make any money? Did I save any money by gardening? Most people that garden, not all, okay, not all, I'm not going to do that, but let's put it this way, a lot of people that garden, for them, it's not even a hobby. I don't know why a lot of people do it. They, their heart's not in it. They'll dig up a piece of land in the backyard, put a couple of raised beds in. I see that all the time. Oh, I'm going to put some raised beds in because that's the thing. Everybody likes that. They put in raised beds. They rototill. They, bring in topsoil and worm castings and all these things, and then they add chemical fertilizer to it, and they do all this stuff, horse manure, whatever, all this work. They plant their starts or their plants. They water them throughout the entire season, but that's all they do is they maybe weed them a little bit here and there, but just do a little watering. And you think about it, and they're like, you're watching these people do this, and they look like they're doing something they really like or really enjoy. But then the truth of it may be that they are really not there. They're really not coherently like gardeners. They might look like it from a distance, but they may not actually be gardening. And I see it all the time where you can tell if someone has a passion for gardening versus someone who is doing it because they've always done it. Their mom did it, and they're just continuing a tradition. So I don't know. That's not me. I'm not a raised bed gardener. I was at one point in time. I was totally a raised bed gardener. I was like thinking, oh man, someday I'm going to turn my entire garden into raised beds, and I'm going to put raised beds throughout my entire garden. That works in certain situations. If you have ample water, if you're on a well, for instance, and you don't have to pay anything for your water is just there, then yeah, okay, I can see how a raised bed makes sense, or can make sense. Being up off the ground, it'll warm up a little bit faster, in the spring, but then again, the other side is it'll cool off a little bit faster in the fall. But you're also going through water like crazy because it's up higher than ground level, so it drains off. And of course, what you make your bed out of, has a lot to do with how it drains as well. If you make your bed out of concrete, solid concrete, not cinder blocks or anything like that, but solid concrete, then, it might stay around a little longer. But then you start making it out of wood, forget it. It's going to dry out really fast. And I've seen them make beds out of all kinds of stuff. But so in certain situations, it makes sense. If you're building a garden for someone that's handicapped, for instance, that makes sense. I like my 55-gallon barrels. They're not. I wouldn't consider them so much a raised bed as much as it is container gardening, because they don't dry out. The way I have my barrels set up, there's a water reservoir in the bottom of them. So it's always wicking damp soil back up to the top. So, yeah, they don't dry out. They stay nice and wet. And I like the height of them. I think it's nice. There's another version that I've made, and I've shown you how to make them, where if you're in a wheelchair or a sitting position, you're able to garden with them really easily. So, yeah, there's a time and a place for that kind of stuff, but in like all around general gardening, I'm not really into the whole, raised bed thing. I'm really not. I'd like to do that for ease. It would be nice to have raised beds, but all due respect, it just doesn't make any sense to me, and for my lifestyle. The only reason I started gardening in 55-gallon barrels was because I couldn't garden in the ground. It was under our contract with our last landlord that I wasn't allowed to garden in the ground. And also, we had this issue. So, when we first moved into our last place, we had this dog running around our backyard that was the neighbor's dog from behind. And I said, all right, enough of this. And there was this cheap garbage fence in between us and the neighbor behind us that was falling down. So I said, all right, I'm going to attempt to build a wall using 55-gallon barrels. And I never closed the wall off. I wanted to. I tried, but it just took too much time and too much dirt. You figure a 55-gallon barrel, that's a lot of soil. And you're looking at, probably 350 pounds of soil. I mean, that's a lot of soil. And I did that. How many times did I do that? I think I did nine times. Most of the time I had them, I think there was 9 barrels. I have, I think, upwards of 20 in total right now that I own. But yeah, I mean, that was crazy. That was absolutely insane. So, and there will be 55-gallon barrels in my new garden. I'm gonna use them as a divider again. I just love it. I thought they were freaking awesome. I am making a special garden for my wife. So yeah, there's a lot that's going to be happening this year, and I'm really super excited to show you guys and have you guys come along as I build this space. So it's a typical urban property. One side of the property has no fence, so I have to build a fence. Yawning. Okay, so wood chips. I am good. I don't know how this happened. So I went and got half a load of wood chips, and I learned a valuable lesson very quickly. If I have to load my own wood chips from a dirt field into my truck and then unload them from my truck to wherever they're going, which the unloading part is actually quite simple, I'm in trouble. But if somebody was there with a Bobcat or something to load my truck with a Bobcat, that would be freaking amazing. But yesterday I got a phone call. It was yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yeah, I got a phone call from this guy, and he's like, dude, I have a tree trim and service, and I guess you called me and you were asking about wood chips. And I says, yes, I was. He's like, good. I'm out here with you. I'm right here next to where you are, not very far away. And I would love to be able to bring you wood chips. He's like, I'll bring you as many wood chips as you want. The only thing he asks is that I'm his only supplier of wood chips. I'm like, okay, cool. So he is going to drop wood chips, and then he said he would even be willing to bring in a bobcat or a front end loader or whatever machinery I require in order to rake them out and level out the wood chips. And I'm blown away. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm down with this. This guy is willing to help me spread them out, and he's gonna give me as many as I want. I'm okay with that. I like that. I really like that. So I said, absolutely, you are my sole wood chip guy. Yeah. So when I finally get a place, I have someone that will deliver wood chips to me. All I gotta do is give him a call and say, all right, I got a place, here's the address, and he will start bringing wood chips. So I'm really excited. I got that part done. So now it's all about getting a place and getting in, and yeah. So I'm really super stoked. I am so okay. So this last weekend, I was having a conversation with my father-in-law about grass, and I told him, I says, dude, I really don't like grass. Everything about grass just drives me insane. You know, you have to water grass. That sucks. Watering grass really sucks. Mowing grass really sucks. And if you want your grass to be green, you've got to spray chemicals or whatever. I mean, the maintenance is insane. The typical maintenance of grass is just insane. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want grass. I don't want to have to mow my lawn every week. You know, I don't want to have to maintain that. You know, I've got a lot in my life that's on my plate and a lot that I do as it is, and grass is definitely not something that I want to deal with, or put up with, or have anything to do with. So I made that very clear. Look, I'm not a grass person. I'm just not a grass person. I'm not into grass. I don't want to deal with grass. And he basically said that I was crazy, without actually saying it, but he basically said that I was absolutely crazy. There's nothing wrong with grass. Grass is fine. You know, grass, you know, the kids need grass, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, the kids need grass? The dog needs... No, the kids don't need grass, and the dog don't need grass. If they've got, you know, somewhere to play, they'll be fine. They'll be happy. Okay. Well, my kids now rarely ever play on the grass. They need to have grass, I'll send them to your house. Oh my gosh. Has it really been 20 minutes already? Oh, I just got started. Remind me next time to talk about gardening, because that's pretty much what this is all about anyways, right? So, alright, until next time, you all have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. I love you all very much. Bye for now.
This has been a Graham's World broadcast brought to you directly from Graham's mind. So stay tuned because there's more to come.